I was in hell. I was drowning in depression. My boyfriend leaked my private photos, then left me. I was about to do something. Until one small, miraculous thing happened. And it changed everything. If you'd asked me a couple years ago, "Do you believe in God?" I would have shrugged and said, I don't not believe, I just don't think about it much. I grew up in Ohio, outside Columbus, in a split-level house with a maple tree that dumped 1,000 leaves every fall. My parents are good people, practical. Mom's a nurse, Dad did HVAC. We went to church on Christmas Eve and sometimes Easter. I believed in being decent, working hard, and calling your mom on the drive home. That felt like enough. Then life happened, and now I tell the story different. I'm telling this from my little rented place in Clintonville, a first-floor unit with creaky floors and a front porch that gets the soft morning sun. It smells like coffee and clean laundry in here most days. There's this slow hum from the old fridge that honestly sounds like a cat purring. And if you sit with me for a while, if you let me take my time, I'll explain how I went from, I don't think about God, to sitting on my porch some mornings, hand on my chest, whispering, "Thank you. I get it now." It didn't start with a miracle. It started with a man, and some choices I made, and some dreams I kept trying to ignore. I met him at a 4th of July cookout out in Worthington. He was funny, easy, said ma'am to my mom the first time he met her. He had those all-American manners that make your parents say, "He seems nice." We'll call him Jake. We went from coffee to dinners to spending weekends together faster than I expected. He lived downtown, near the river, in a building with exposed brick and a rooftop that looked out over the lights. My parents weren't thrilled when I told them I was moving in with him. They didn't shout. They just did that quiet, worried thing. My dad kept asking if I'd thought it through. My mom said, "Just promise me you're safe, and text me when you get home, please." I had a good job, marketing, solid paycheck, health insurance, 401k. I packed up my childhood bedroom, my old Ohio State posters, the photo strip from homecoming, my box of Christmas ornaments, and I left. I told myself I was starting my real life. For a while, it was good. We did farmers markets on Saturday mornings. The apartment smelled like his cologne and fresh coffee. He'd kiss my cheek and say, "You're my person." We'd bring home too many heirloom tomatoes and laugh trying to stack them in the tiny fridge. We hosted friends. We watched playoff games with takeout wings. I used to stand at the kitchen counter in a big t-shirt, late at night, eating cold pizza and thinking, this is what being grown feels like. Then 18 months went by, and I started having dreams. It wasn't like a movie. I didn't dream of thunder or angels or some giant glowing sign that said run. It was small, a headache that kept coming back, a knot in my stomach I couldn't explain. And these dreams, they were simple. I'd see him in the kitchen, the morning light hitting his jaw. He'd glance at me and then turn away, and behind his back I'd see a hand, not mine, taking his. It sounds corny, but it was. It was sober, ordinary and devastating. I'd wake up at 3:13 a.m., drenched in sweat, heart going like a hummingbird. Every 3 or 4 days, it happened again. Variations of the same dream, different camera angle, same ache. I tried to be logical. I told myself it was stress. My team at work had merged with another. We were doing 2 people's jobs on one salary. I was drinking too much coffee. The neighbors upstairs were loud. Maybe that's all it was. Subconscious mess. Old jealousy from a college boyfriend that planted a seed I never fully dug out. I told myself I was fine. The thing is, your body will tell you things your mouth is too polite to say. The headaches became a tight band across my forehead by 5 p.m. most days. I started keeping my phone face down because I didn't want to be the suspicious girlfriend. I stopped reading after dinner and scrolled instead, mindless and numb. I skipped my Sunday morning calls with my parents because I didn't want to hear my mom ask, "Everything okay?" in that slow, careful voice moms use. I sacrificed a lot for that relationship. Friends, hobbies, my routine. It's no one's fault, not really. It's just what happens slowly when you let your world shrink to 2 people. I used to do spin class. I used to go to trivia nights. Back then, I was canceling with sorry work, when really I was making dinner for him and turning on the game. The type of we where you forget what I likes. One night at the end of March, I got another dream. He was on our couch in his gray hoodie, the one I stole and wore when it was cold. In the dream, he was laughing, head thrown back. And there was this flash of copper hair next to him, not mine, and a coffee mug I didn't recognize on our coffee table. Then I saw his phone light up with a name. It was just a first name, not one I knew. I woke up with the taste of a metal spoon in my mouth, like fear has a flavor. I went to the kitchen for water. The windows were cracked. You could smell that muddy, thawing earth smell that hits Ohio the minute winter starts giving up. It was 3:27 a.m. I remember because the oven clock was blinking. I poured water. I stood there and thought, am I making this up? Or am I an idiot for refusing to look? 4 weeks later on a Tuesday, I found out. It wasn't dramatic. No lipstick on a collar. No big scene. Just a text message thread he left open on the kitchen counter while he ran downstairs to grab an Instacart delivery. 2 people talking like they'd known each other for a while. 2 people talking about dinners I didn't know he ate. Inside jokes. A picture of our couch from a weird angle. I didn't scream. I didn't throw things. The dream had already done the screaming for me. When he came back upstairs, the groceries rattling in those paper bags, he saw my face. He went pale. He started explaining before I asked a question. That told me everything. I packed a bag, 2 sets of clothes, my toothbrush, the Christmas ornaments I loved because I couldn't stand to leave those tiny bits of my childhood in that apartment. He followed me to the door, talking in circles. I set his gray hoodie on the chair and left. I drove straight to my parents' place, pulled into the driveway. They came out like they'd been standing in the hall waiting for the sound of my car. We talked in the kitchen, me at the counter, them by the sink. No yelling, just that tired, worried tone that lands heavier than shouting. They love me, they always have. But that night, they couldn't accept me moving back in. Not then, not after all the choices and the tension. My dad stared at the window like he was talking to the oak tree and said, "We need to see you stand on your own 2 feet." My mom's eyes were glossy. She said, "We're here, but we can't do the day-to-day right now. Please find a place. We'll help where we can." So I did. I found a tiny studio over a bakery in Clintonville. First floor, creaky floors, chipped white paint on the windowsill. I signed the sublet online at 11:43 p.m. I moved in with 2 duffel bags and a box of kitchen stuff. I bought a thrift store couch that looked like it had survived a dorm and was proud of it. I told myself, okay, one thing at a time. The very next morning, I went to work. The hallway went quiet the second I walked in, that hush that feels like a draft. A couple coworkers glanced up, then looked away like their eyes were hot. Someone said morning, but it landed weird, like a line read off script. My stomach did a slow roll. I sat down at my desk. 8:07 a.m. The vanilla latte on my mousepad was still warm. 3 emails were waiting with no subject lines, no preview text, just my name in the to field and a few coworkers CC'd. I clicked. It was me, private photos I had taken years ago with someone I trusted. No context, no kindness, just dropped in my inbox like a trap. My vision tunneled. My face went cold and hot at the same time. The room sounded far away, like I was underwater. I could feel eyes flicking toward me and away, pity from one corner, judgment from another, curiosity from the rest. It felt like walking into a room without skin. I closed the laptop, got up, walked, then basically ran to the restroom, locked the stall. My hands shook so hard I had to brace them against the wall. Tears came fast and messy. I wasn't even thinking words, just a rush of fear and shame that didn't belong to me but was somehow sitting on my chest like a weight. I knew who did it. I didn't need a detective. I just stood there, breathing like a person trying to remember how. By lunch, HR had looped in whatever they could loop in. Kind faces, careful words, not a lot anyone could actually undo. I walked out of the building into bright daylight that felt rude. I sat in my car and stared at the steering wheel. I called my mom. Let it ring. Let it go to voicemail. Listened to her say, "We're here, we're not going anywhere," and cried harder. Within a week, I resigned. I took a quieter role at a much smaller shop, half the pay, fewer eyes, because survival felt more important than a title. I went home to my little studio, closed the curtains, and tried to figure out how to exist in a body that felt like a glass house. The old dreams came back. Not about him this time, about me trying to talk and nothing but confetti coming out. I started praying. Not fancy, just, please, help. Make me strong enough to get through today. I was broken inside. I couldn't think straight. I needed help, not noise, so I went to church. St. Bridget's was quiet, old wood, faint lemon cleaner, soft light through the windows. I sat in the back for a minute, then asked to speak with the priest. Father James, silver hair, calm eyes, he said, take your time. I told him everything, short sentences, the relationship, the dreams, the betrayal, moving out, the mess at work, how small I felt, how I'd started praying and didn't even know what to ask for. My voice shook. I said, I need a solution, I'm not okay. He nodded, no judgment, all positive but real. You're not a problem to fix, he said. You're a person to care for, let's keep it simple today. Eat real food. Step outside for 5 minutes. Call someone safe. If you don't have one, call me. Do one kind thing for a living creature, and notice how you feel. I wrote it in my phone, he said. You're still here, that's brave. I took a deep breath, nodded, and left the church a little steadier. I walked to a cafe on the corner. Tomato soup, grilled cheese, window seat. I ate slowly, letting my shoulders drop. One thing at a time, I whispered. I paid, wrapped my scarf, and pushed the door open. That's when I heard its squeal of brakes. I looked up. At the four-way stop, a skinny mama dog was crossing fast with 4 tiny pups bouncing behind her. People shouted. A truck braked late. I didn't think, I ran. Hey, stop! I threw my arms out like I could slow the world down. The mama darted. 2 puppies slipped under a parked car. One veered right. One so small, all ears kept going into the shadow by the front tire. Time slowed. I lunged and reached, felt fur, heard a tiny cry. The truck jolted. Someone yelled, oh God. I pulled. The puppy slipped. The tire bumped. Then sound crashed back, horn, voices, my own breath. We moved fast. A barista ran out with a box and a towel. A woman in an OSU hoodie crouched beside me. We scooped up the injured pup. The mama circled, barking, scared and brave all at once. We drove to the nearest animal clinic. The vet team took her straight in. X-ray. Clean break, the doctor said. We'll splint it, pain meds, she's got a chance. I nodded so hard my eyes stung. Not all of them made it. One pup didn't survive. I sat in the corner of the lobby and covered my eyes. The vet rested a hand on my shoulder. You helped the ones you could help, she said gently. I whispered, please, to whoever was listening. The injured pup pulled through. Logic said quick timing and good care. My heart said, maybe God put us in the right place at the right moment. I'll take both. Do you want us to keep her overnight or can you foster? The vet asked. The word foster felt like a door opening. I'll foster, I said before I could overthink it. I carried that little fighter to my rented studio, set her on a flannel on my couch, named her Scout. Small, brave, ears like a cartoon. I set alarms for her meds, 6 a.m., 2 p.m., 10 p.m., and put the bottle by the lamp so I wouldn't miss it. I texted Father James a photo. Did the thing, I wrote. He replied, proud of you, eat. So I warmed up soup and ate it standing at the counter. When I sat back down, Scout sighed in her sleep, that soft puppy sound that feels like hope. That first night, I slept on the floor beside the couch. Woke up every couple hours to check her bandage and listen for her breathing. Around 3 a.m., she whimpered. I put my hand close. She licked my knuckles once and fell back asleep. It was small, and it was everything. Day by day, we found a rhythm. Short, careful walks. Keep the splint dry if it rained. Fresh water. Food on time. I stepped outside for 5 minutes like the list said. I called someone safe. I was kind to this one living creature in my home, and the heaviness started to loosen. Not gone. Lighter. 3 weeks later, the splint came off. Go slow, the vet said. She'll want to do too much too fast. I stuck a note on my mirror. Go slow, but go. About a month after the rescue, I got an email from a solid company. Good team, real purpose. A friend of a friend passed my name along. Interview Friday. Offer on Tuesday. A good position. Steady pay, respect. I did the call with Scout sleeping at my feet, her paw resting on my ankle like a little anchor. When I hung up, I cried, relief, not fear. With Scout beside me, the loneliness and the sadness didn't run the whole day anymore. Mornings had a purpose. The quiet didn't feel empty. I kept praying simple. Thank you for today, help me with tomorrow. And the timing kept showing up kind. My neighbor lending me a crate, a text from a friend right when I needed it, a seat opening up on a crowded bus. Small saves stacked up. I started reaching out to my parents again. Safe topics at first, weather, recipes, my dad's tomato plants. Then one afternoon my mom called and said, "How are you, really?" I told her the truth. The dreams, the breakup, the mess at work, the church, the list, the dog. She listened all the way through. "We love you," she said. "Come for dinner." They met Scout. My dad crouched down and said, "Hey there, little lady," in a voice I hadn't heard in too long. Scout leaned against his leg like she'd known him forever. My mom hugged me longer than usual. "We're sorry for the parts we got wrong," she said. I said, "Me too." We ate, we laughed. The house didn't feel like ghosts anymore. One evening at the park by the river, golden light on the water, Scout tested her legs step, step. Then she ran, really ran, ears back. Pure joy, I laughed out loud. Then I cried happy tears in public because it had been a long time since joy surprised me. I looked up and whispered, "Thank you." Not because I had hard proof, because I had peace, because I wasn't alone. So when people ask what changed me, this is what I say. I didn't get magic. I got timing. I got people. I got a priest who gave me a simple list instead of a lecture, a neighbor with a crate and a kind heart, a vet who said, "She's got a chance," and a little dog who needed me right when I needed her. If that's not God working through everyday life, I don't know what is. A month after bringing Scout home, I had a good job, a steadier mind, and a reason to set my alarm. Slowly, I convinced my parents I was okay. One night my mom called and asked, "How's your life, really?" I told her everything. She said, "We accept you, we're proud of you." My dad added, "Come by Sunday, bring Scout." Now, I'm living quietly, happily, with my dog snoring on the couch like she owns the lease. I go to work, I call my folks, I walk by the river. Most nights, I scratch Scout behind the ear until her back leg does that happy kick, and I whisper, "Thank you for second chances, for timing, for people, for dogs." One more thing, God saved me from the wrong person, too. That door closing was part of the rescue. And when I needed emotional support most, I got a puppy. She healed me. That wasn't a coincidence. I'm still here. We're still here. And we're gonna be okay. This is my God saved my life speech, simple and true. Not lightning from the sky. Just the right help at the right time and a small heartbeat that reminded me I'm still here. And we're gonna be okay.